Greetings everybody, Nick DiVirgilio here, and today's video is on this Pearl Masterworks Heritage Sonic-Select 4-piece shell pack. Let's get going. The first thing I want to talk about is Pearl Masterworks. If you don't know what that is Pearl's super high-end, totally customizable, anything you want drum kit. You can really customize literally everything you want, from the finish, the shell, the make of the shell, the hardware, the edges, the hoops, anything you want in the Masterworks line, you can get it. And what Pearl set out to do with these Sonic-Select drum kits is they came up with 5 different shell recipes to emulate different styles of music, different kinds of vibes, and what you want when you sit behind the drum kit. And they're all fantastic. Let's get into the details of this Heritage drum kit right now. Pearl took 2 classic tone woods to make up this drum kit. The shells are 4 plies thick, and it's 2 plies of maple over 2 plies of mahogany. You get the punch of maple and the warmth that mahogany wood brings. But you also get 4-ply reinforcement, maple reinforcement rings on all the drums. That brings out the focus, the dryness, and really the projection of the sound of these drums. They're nice and warm and really fun to hear from the drummer's perspective. Speaking of hearing these drums, I have the snare wires off, and let's hear the toms first. You get a 13-inch rack tom and a 16-inch floor tom. Here we go. Really beautiful sustain on both the drums, but especially on this floor tom. You have perfect 45-degree bearing edges on these drums, and it's just a really great round musical tone. Let me put the snare wires on and do that again. Here we go. A really killer sound, and the drums come outfitted with Remo coated ambassadors right out of the box. Great professional drum heads that you can take anywhere. I do encourage anytime you buy a brand new drum kit, whether it's a beautiful kit like this Masterworks Sonic-Select or any other kit, try different head combinations. This kit would go great with a double-ply head like an Emperor or a G2 or a Super 2 from Aquarian. Really kind of dry up the sound a little bit, maybe even make them a little fatter. But right out of the box, these drums sound great. Let's get into this kick drum right now. The kick drum is 14 by 22, snare wires off. Let's hear it. Deep and punchy. I love how the maple and mahogany work together on the sound of the kick drum. It's only 14 inches deep, but it's still big and round and lots of low end. Snare wires on, do the same thing. I have a tiny bit of dampening inside the kick drum, so a little bit of pillow touching the resonant side and the beater side, but that's about it. I do have a hole on the front kick drum head. I just prefer playing with a hole on the front head, on the reso head, but you know, you could not put any dampening at all in this kick drum, have the front head with no hole, crank it up, and this would be a great jazz drum. Now, shell packs normally don't come with a snare drum, but this Pearl Masterworks Sonic-Select Heritage drum kit comes with a matching 6.5 by 14-inch snare drum. It sounds great, it's punchy, it's fat sounding, really easy on the hands. This is what the snare drum sounds like on its own. That was a loud, punchy, but very musical sounding drum. Great tone, sounds beautiful with the snare wires off. The strainer, I'll get into all the details of the hardware in just a second, but the strainer is so easy to use. You can turn the snare wires off in a jiffy while you're playing. Let's put all these drums together and play them for you. Here we go. All right, let's get into the hardware on this kit. This is all Pearl's top of the line hardware. Beautiful stuff, low mass, really adds to the sound and just playability of these drums. Let me first point out the lugs here. These are called the STL swivel lugs. These are really low mass, very lightweight. The tension rod will actually go all the way through. And if you look at it closely, the gold fittings on the outside sort of look like flathead screws. But that makes it so they can swivel back and forth a little bit. And all that does is when you put the tension rod in, it fits in perfectly right away. It's really easy to tune up these drums and then the tuning stays. The next thing I want to talk about are the hoops here. These are Pearl's FatTone hoops. Now they play like old school die cast hoops, but they're much lighter. They sound great when you dig into them and you play that nice fat backbeat, and they really add to the resonance and the tone of these drums. The suspension system is Pearl's Optimount suspension system. It's really easy to use. The toms hang freely. It mounts from the top and the bottom, and you can place this tom in any position you want, and it really stays there, and it's nice and solid. A couple things to point out on this kick drum. The claw hooks are fantastic, rubber lined. The tuning rods are recessed in, and they just really hold that hoop on, and the hoop is beautiful. You don't want to damage this hoop or scratch it up in any way. So the claw hooks really do a great job of not only keeping the head on, tuning up the drum so you can play it, but they protect the drum as well. It's a great thing. Now, kick drum spurs to me are probably one of the most important pieces of hardware on any drum kit. Pearl makes some of the best in the business. Your kick drum will not move at all. They are sturdy, they are beefy, but they're not heavy. You can put them really high, really low, and they just work every time. They're great spurs. Let me quickly talk to you about a couple pieces of hardware on the snare drum, namely the strainer, the SR1000 Glide Lock Strainer. It's super easy to use, and it really glides, and it really locks. Now, right now the snare wire tension's off. On top of the arm right here is a little button. When you engage the snare wires and they're in place, it locks it in place. Super easy to use, and when you want to take the snare wire tension off, you just barely touch it and you can pull it off. But it locks in place and it stays there. It's really sturdy, so you could be rocking out on this drum all night long, playing metal music, just beating the bejeebers out of this drum, and the snare wire tension is never going to get loose or turn off because it's locked in place with the SR1000 Glide Lock Strainer. Now, to adjust the tension on this drum, you do it on the butt plate side, and again, it's really easy to use and it locks in place. To adjust the tension, you push down, turn to adjust, and it locks back up. It kind of goes back up and locks in place. Down, up, like that. A super cool, really high-end design that just makes your drum musical and playable all night long. Now, the last thing I want to show on this drum kit is this beautiful finish. Olive burst. You could tell it's a little bit darker towards the edge, and then it gets light right in the middle. You see the wood grain underneath. It's really beautiful and lush. You get this nice design, top and bottom of every drum. There are other finishes in the Heritage Sonic-Select line, but this one will look great on any stage, look great in a studio. The lights make this drum kit look really beautiful here in the video studio. It's a really beautiful looking drum kit. There you have it, everyone. The Pearl Masterworks Sonic-Select Heritage 4-piece shell pack in this beautiful olive burst finish. Fantastic drums. Great sizes with this 13-inch rack tom and 16-inch floor tom. Great for any style of music, whether you play pop, funk, gospel, worship music. If you rock, this is a great rock drum kit too. And if you tune up these drums, you can easily play jazz on these drums as well. Great all-around drum kit. If you want any more information about this Pearl drum kit or any other Pearl product, just make sure you talk to your Sweetwater sales engineer. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for watching this video, everybody. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Click right here for more videos just like this, or start at sweetwater.com for all your music instrument and pro audio needs.